whole story starts off very much like a horror movie. The music's very scary, it's very dark lit. We see his feet walking down a hallway. We then see him opening up a door, and the music builds and the bright light hits the camera.
Ladies and gentlemen, your hero, the champion, Wolvy!
Let's rock.
The crowd starts cheering and going crazy. The music kicks in, and then I want it to be very energetic rock and roll as he's dancing out. He's kind of a rock and roll werewolf, so.
I'm Todd Tucker. This is Project Wolvy.
I really wanted him to come off very kind of cartoony, but yet real lovable in a sense. And I think I did.
Well, first, there was about 2 or 3 years worth of studying the marketable things that kids liked, being Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, all that type of stuff, and finding out what it is about those shows that are very likable. And then taking things from adult humored stuff, such as The Simpsons or kind of cartoonier stuff, and kind of combining the two together and coming up with the idea that is for kids but is funny enough and entertaining enough for adults too, so you get the whole crossover. Then you go from there to coming up with the script, the idea, making sure it's something that will be funny and is also very marketable, or at least, you know, visual. And then start doing designs and start going crazy and making all the characters.
I wanted to put the majority of all the characters in the 5 minutes. And with the 5 minute short, it sets up the whole story and introduces the characters. And I will be using that as a selling package to hopefully sell this as a movie.
Lighting wise, you know, just sometimes just walk into something and just do it on the spot. That's the best way.
Considering that I have almost all my characters in the 5 minutes, I think 1.5 years probably is a good span of time.
And this is basically a teaser to get the excitement rolling, to get signed, to make it as a full film. There's everything from remote control heads to prosthetic makeups to latex masks to foam bodysuits to props.
At this point I have all the Wolvy characters ready to go, just waiting to be filmed. The design was real important because I wanted to make him look different than anything you've seen, and I really didn't want him to come off as looking scary. I wanted him to be much more kind of attractive and almost suave, if you will. Well, we actually took a cast of my head, a life cast, and then it was sculpted directly onto my head so that the eye areas would blend off perfectly onto my eyes, and so the head would be custom fit to me. It's the best animal-like hair that I could get. Larry O'Dean, and he did all the mechanics for the Wolvy head.
Looks exactly like what I wanted, so I'm very happy.
Great.
Yeah.
Where it was a sculpted head, molded with the foam ran. There was mechanics in the head. It had eye movement left and right. It had eye blink and mouth open and close. And this was a big extended head that you would look through the mouth of. And he stood about 7'3", and when all 4 arms were moving, it was a 2-man puppeteer job, one in the suit, one behind the suit, controlling the bottom arms, and then also somebody off to the side with the remote control doing all the facial movements. So it took quite a lot to get all 3 puppeteers in sync to really sell the character.
Todd's great because he can do everything. He can sculpt, paint, mold, you know, he just do everything, everything. He's been very valuable to me over the years. And he's really easy to work with too. When things get really bad, he still, you know, has an upbeat sense of humor, you know, and will work under horrendous conditions, and no matter how bad it gets, and he'll, you know, get through it and do it, and he's a lot of fun.
I really enjoy doing the characters, coming up with the ideas and sculpting them, and just basically taking something that's on paper and bringing it to life in 3 dimensions.
Well, luckily I had a lot of people that really were great and helped me out, and I could not have done this without them.
Matt Rose, who is a good friend of mine and one of the best sculptors in the business. Matt really helped me out a lot and taught me, you know, different ways of sculpting and different techniques and stuff like that. Matt had came down to LA about a year after I met him and started working, and I kept in touch with him while I was up in San Jose doing other stuff and just practicing and getting my portfolio together. And we did a whole head cast on him, and his head that he wore in the filming was a giant baby head, kind of like an Elmer Fudd-ish looking thing. And that was sculpted directly onto his head cast, so it fit him perfectly.
I had a gentleman by the name of Steve Prouty, who's an excellent makeup artist, who helped me, a good friend of mine.
There was a big headpiece, and then there were 3 blenders, one in the back, which attached to the back of the head and then to the back of Jodie's neck. Steve came in, it was a 3-hour makeup to put the head on. Steve started early in the morning around 7:30 and was done about 10:30.
I mean, we're trying to like make the baby seem as real as humanly possible.
Baby Mulligan is a actor friend of mine named Jodie Mullinex. I put a ad in Dramalog looking for a giant oversized man. Mulligan is a giant baby man. He has the intelligence of a baby. He looks like a baby, except for the fact that he is a 340-pound, 6'3" giant baby.
Very cool.
It's basically the same thing because you still have to get a performance out of a creature. Same with an actor.
Basically, after the foam comes out, it's like a skin, and you paint it up and put it over the mechanics. What we did was we put a spandex workout suit over my body cast, and then the muscles were sculpted out of foam so that it all formed kind of a large, oversized muscle body, basically. The fursuit was hand punched and was basically donated to me by Greg Canham. It was a beautiful fursuit, so I couldn't have asked for better. And I sculpted the finger extensions onto my fingers, which came out through the cut-off gloves in the costume. And then the feet were sculpted on my feet, and they were slip-on feet. It blended off really nice.
Wolvy was cool because Todd, when he got in the suit there, he became the big wrestler guy, and he had all his movements down, and the animatronics in the face. It's just a matter of coordinating that with the action that Todd was doing inside the suit.
It gets pretty hot. I lost, in 2 days, I lost about 10 pounds after all the sweating I did, and plus wearing the head too. It's a little bit confining, so it's definitely you have to get yourself in the frame of mind to just kind of deal with it. His uniform was black, his lips are black, his nose is black. I kind of wanted to give him that overall dark kind of look to him so that he almost had a black tone to his whole character. And I wanted the eyes also to stand out when my eyes were open, so to blacken around would definitely make my eyes pop out more.
Tilt that one away. Over here, I'm going to be dancing in front of the crowd as you're standing.
So I wanted to be the character so that I could have him exactly the way I wanted him to be. Done puppeteering and done suit wearing before, and I wanted him to have a lot of animation to him and a lot of movement. The open and close of the jaw and the mouth is off of my jaw when I wear it. So I have the puppeteering of the mouth, and then the other puppeteered parts are done by remote control off to the side by two other puppeteers. So it's kind of a whole process of working together to really sell the idea that he's a real character.
I really work on a contrasty type lighting situation. That's where I base it from, you know. Look at that and then add little highlights here and there.
Crazy.
I really enjoyed the fact that he had meticulous storyboards. It really, really helps a lot.
Well, in this case, it's really easy. Todd did his homework really well. He had the whole place storyboarded out. Every shot was in there, and it was just a matter of going down the blueprints, getting what we needed.
I started doing meticulous storyboards of what it was that I was going to film. Started creating all the characters and building them, sculpting them. And it took about 1.5 years for me to get everything together for the filming date, which was actually only 2 days. But there was a lot of filming to do in those 2 days. He's the type of person that kids would be able to look up to, even though he is a giant werewolf.
The baby had great expressions on his face.
So we're here, we're set up for the show.
Final shot where we'll be standing on.
Once again, the crowd going wild, and everyone loves Wolvy. He starts running towards the ring, jumps in the air, does a flip, and lands in the ring. It's much more gag type things.
What if you, baby?
Oh, and a beautiful bottle bash by Baby Mulligan. Mulligan obviously not easily moved. But boy, does that baby pack a wallop.
All right then, little mister.
The champ is down. Wait, could it be? Yes, the deadly diver drop. What a mess! This doesn't look good for Wolvy, folks. Making his way to his feet. And he's down! Boy, does that diaper stink.
Oh, man.
Wolvy had better move quick.
And then, Mike, how low do you want it? Kind of something like this or what?
Directing it, I had Mike Deek. He was really good. He handled all the crowd scene stuff great, and he really, we got together and went over the storyboards and really made sure that we knew the shots that we were getting and really did the homework so that when we got there and filmed, there was no guessing. It was all very much scripted out and we knew exactly what to do. On the Wolvy head, we have individual brow movements so we could get that real kind of suave look. We also have, it was real important that Wolvy could smile, so we have him sculpted and in a neutral position, but we have mechanics to make his sides and his mouth pull back so he has a smile. And we also have lip articulation in the front so that he can kind of hoot or pucker his lips.
More than anything, I hope they laugh and have a good time.
There's a nice change and a nice turn to have him be in that situation rather than having him constantly winning and being the hero, because that's kind of what would be expected. So I want to do the unexpected. Jump through the air to kick Baby Mulligan, and Baby Mulligan doesn't move, and Wolvy Wolvy falls to the ground. So it's all very much Wolvy getting beaten to death. He's really the victim through the whole thing. He never really wins the match until the very end, when he does one thing that changes everything around, and he wins victoriously.
And that's what I want. If the audience watches it and laughs and has a good time, then I'm happy.
Mulligan takes the powder. And this could be the pin. Yes, he's done it. But baby continues to cry.
This is what you want? Huh? Yeah? All right.
Wolvy making his way to the top ropes. I can't bear to watch. Yes! Another victory for the champion.
Willie Weasel is played by Lewis Kiss, who is a friend of mine. He is Willie Weasel. He truly is the character in a sense that he can just snap into that character.
Steve Cook came and helped me with this.
For that makeup, we knew that we were only going to be doing the nose and ears, so I only casted his ears and nose separately, so that I didn't have to put him through the whole cast because it's just necessary. Well, I did Willie's makeup. I went in and basically Lou's hair is blonde, so the first thing we had to do was grease and darken his hair. And then after we did that, I applied the nose, and then applied the ears, and did all the makeup and all the freckling, and blended it all off. And then the last finishing touch was the dentures that he wore. Lou really sold the character with his eyebrows and the different facial expressions he did, so it really looked much more animated. Basically just really pull a lot of good people together, keep everyone very motivated and positive, and just oversee the whole project and see it from start to finish.
And snap. It's a pretty involved process, even for just 5 minutes worth of film, but at the same time, I've got 5 minutes worth of films and 6 complete character suits.
We sculpted the head, we then molded it, and once again did a core for it so we could have the skin that was sculpted be the exact thickness. And then we did a fiberglass core that the skin would go over, and then into the core the mechanics were placed in, and the eyes, and basically the teeth, the mouth, the inner mouth, everything was attached in, and then the skin was pulled over that, and then there was hair laid onto the head, which blended off onto the chest and filled the gap of the foot or so from the actual head to the puppeteer's head. And the puppeteer would look through the mouth, and there was a giant throat area that had the little punching bag in the back, and there was some black fabric behind that, so you couldn't see into the head, but you could see out of the head. So that was where the vision for the puppeteer, where he would see out of. Gus is a 7'3", 4-armed, abominable snow character. He's kind of a gentle giant, I guess you would say. We had head movement left to right. We also had mouth open and closed, which was articulated by the remote control. And also the eyes would blink and look left to right. And once everything was kind of all moving together, it looked pretty animated. It really brought him to life.
Gus. Well, Gus was pretty easy because his whole face again was all animatronic and side to side. And what I'm going to do as well here while we're doing this thing.
As far as Gus goes, I had originally I had somebody else who was going to play Gus, but I jumped in the suit myself and said, "Roll the cameras, let's do it." At one point, I had all 4 arms going, and I needed to have the bottom set of arms puppeteered, so I had the the producer of this tape, Scott Essman, get behind me and do the bottom arms so that we could, at one point, actually try to peel a banana with all 4 arms. And it kind of worked, and it was a little difficult, but I think we got it.
Wide open?
The costumes were done by Jana Bonaire, who did a great job also.
She was great. She really helped me out. She's one of the top seamstresses in the business who did both the Thug costumes. The Thug brothers are Willie Weasel's henchmen. The Thug brothers had a big muscle suit. There's 2 of them, and they're pretty much identical.
Look, I'm walking in here after not looking at them, and they both look great.
We wanted to do a real 70s disco-y type music for Willie Weasel because he's a real disco squid.
Okay, we're ready. Yeah.
Please sit down. Well, aren't you a big one?
Yeah, Gus is big.
And obviously very smart, too. I am Willie Weasel, manager extraordinaire. And these are my associates, the Thug Brothers. So, Gus, let me ask you. You ever heard of Wolvy?
Yeah, Gus like Wolvy.
Mm-hmm.
Wolvy is champion. Kids like Wolvy. Gus like kids.
Well, let me tell you one thing, pal. I've got more boogie in my little butt than he's got in his whole body. Oh, wait. Let me get to the point. I like you, and I don't like Wolvy. You sign with me, and I'll make you the next new champion. And rid myself of Wolvy at the same time. And soon, all those screaming brats, all those adorable children will then like you. Don't you get it? Don't you love it?
Yeah, but...
Oh, wait. Don't say another word. So, what do you think of our furry friend now?
He's mine.
And these characters to me are very different to anything that I've ever done before, so that was very nice. It was a change.
Coming up with the story ideas and really just kind of putting the whole thing together from start to finish.
Our characters are very unique. It's something, nothing like I've seen before, that's for sure.
So I'm hoping that this will be the beginning of a trail of movies and projects to come. There's a lot involved. I mean, it's an overwhelming project, but as long as it comes out good, it's all worth it. Hopefully, a inspirational hero, as long as they don't pick up his clumsiness and his overconfidence. But he's a good guy, and I hope they look at him that way and want to be like Wolvy, maybe.